Hello, this is Captain Joel, and welcome to my latest Marvel Puzzle Quest video. In this video, we're going to talk about the newly released 5-star Doctor Strange. So, this new 5-star Doctor Strange was just released as a part of the promotion for the new Doctor Strange movie that's just been released. They also released a 3-star version which has very similar powers. Slightly different, but very similar overall. So, um, I've fooled around with this character a bit. I actually really like him. I think that, as we'll see, he's much more useful in PvE than he is in PvP, but even in PvP he can be somewhat useful, but on defense he's going to be targeted much more than just about any other 5-star due to his lower health pool, which as you can see is 35,842 at level 450. This is the smallest HP amongst the 5-stars currently released. So, let's take a look at this. This is, I guess, from a newer version of Doctor Strange's comic book, released, I guess, last year. I haven't been reading his comics yet, but I'll get around to it. So Stephen Strange was a brilliant and arrogant surgeon until the day a car accident took away the use of his hands. He spent every waking hour and his vast fortune searching for a cure, but what he found instead was the Ancient One and the mystic arts. Now, as Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, Strange guards our reality against magical threats. So, okay costume. Looks kind of cool. Really got that mustache going. So he's got, for his highest strength, he's got 630. He's got a 4.3 multiplier. So if we were to compare him, there we see he's stronger than Phoenix. And he's just about as strong as Old Man Logan. He's got 5 extra levels, so it's a bit higher than he would normally be. So he's got pretty high damage in the 5-star realm. So he's definitely not a pushover in terms of match damage. And he is a blue, purple, yellow character. So as you'll see, almost all of his skills are basically better in the hands of the player, except for his yellow, which anybody can, it's auto use pretty much. So this is a 9 AP power, the blue move. It's called Crimson Bands of Sidorak. I'm not sure why this is blue instead of red, crimson, but whatever. So, by Sidorak's 7th Crimson Band, let this brilliant whip ensnare your hand. Convert a chosen basic tile into a 3-turn countdown tile, then stuns the target well, it depends on how many covers you have. If you only have 3 covers, then it's a 2-turn countdown tile, and it stuns for 2 turns. At 4 and 5 covers, it becomes a 3-turn countdown tile, and it stuns the target for 3 turns. So basically, the countdown tile lasts as long as the stun. So what happens? Every turn, the tile destroys 3 enemy AP of its color, whether you had 3, 4, or 5 covers, and deals at 3 covers 4,000 damage, at same amount of damage at 4 covers, and at 5 covers 6,384 damage. So essentially you're getting an extra turn from the 3 to 4, which is useful, and from the 4 to 5 you're getting an extra 2,000 or so damage each turn, which is an extra 6,000 damage over the course of the skill. So I think that it's pretty clear from when we look at his purple skill that the purple is a definite 3 in 90% of the scenarios, so you might as well have blue at 5. And this is, there's only currently 2, I guess, well, there's Green Goblin has a stun with his Trick or Treat skill, but you're not going to want to use that usually because you'd rather just attack with his skill instead. You've got Spider-Man's blue, unfortunately also a blue, so you can't really use this and then use Spider-Man's blue, but that's also a stun. And lastly, Spider-Man's green is also a stunner, but it's random. Um, so you can't really use Spider-Man with him to try to get that extra stun out of blue, or you won't be using Spider-Man's blue. So this is a usable blue though for sure. I think it's pretty good. It can definitely help when you're trying to climb up and you're maybe gonna have an enemy get just enough AP to unleash, like Old Man Logan unleash one of his skills and you want to stop that. So I definitely think this is a very useful skill. Being able to place it makes it much more useful than a lot of the older random skills for tile placement. Um, so it's less likely to be matched, and you can choose which color you want to steal the AP from. So I like this skill. So let's take a look at it in action. Okay, so as we can see, right now I'm going up against Old Man Logan and Green Goblin. Now, Green Goblin, he has a yellow skill. I don't really care about it right now, though. And Old Man Logan also has yellow. So I guess the question is, who's better to stun? I'd rather stun Old Man Logan for now, and I'd want to try to reduce the yellow AP. So I've got a little bit less match damage I'm going to be taking every turn. So we'll see what happens next turn. So it did that 6,000 damage, and it took away 3 yellow AP. So I think that's a very, very useful skill. It can really slow your opponent down and help out a lot. Take into account that it's not stealing, it's destroying their AP. So you're not getting that AP that you're taking away from the enemy. Just wanted to make sure people were aware of that, because the skill might seem like it's better than it really is otherwise. But it's definitely a very good skill. Maybe not high damage, but it's got its other uses. So, it's a pretty cool skill, I think. Okay, let's take a look at the Eye of Agamotto. So this costs 11 purple AP. By Agamotto's all-revealing light, let the eye see through your plans with mystic sight. If one does not exist, create a colorless eye tile that activates each turn, removing a random enemy attack, protect or strike tile. The eye tile can't be matched and doesn't fall. So all that adding covers does from 3 to 4, you are also able to remove invisibility tiles and trap tiles at 5. So it doesn't remove countdown tiles. So I don't know how useful this is for the cost. 11 AP is a lot, especially when he has such low health. I think that it can be useful for fighting against Old Man Logan and Phoenix, but I just don't see myself using it as often. I mean, you've got Black Suit Spider-Man's ability to just nullify the strike tiles. So I don't know. It's not that great of a skill, but you can see it in action and make your own determination. It's a decent skill, but it's just too slow to really be that worthwhile. And adding on invisibility or trap tiles is, at least right now, useless in the 5-star tier. So we'll have to wait and see. If I'm guessing that they're going to add a new 5-star soon with invisibility or trap tiles, if they're trying to add this, ability over here. I guess future-proof it, but we'll see. We'll see. So let's see it in action. Okay, so let's take a look at the Eye of Agamotto in action. So you just click it right here. You got 11. Boop. Throw that eyeball up. Now it's placed over here. Can't move it. It's locked. So it's automatically going to do its job every turn. So we'll see what happens next turn. Boop. So it got rid of one of those. So yeah. Okay, and lastly, let's take a look at the Flames of the Faltine. So this costs 14 yellow AP to use it. However, it also has a passive element. We'll see that in a second. By the flawless Faltine's flame, let the power you possess strike you the same. So this is the active part. It deals at 3 covers, only 8,600 damage. At 4 covers, 11,000 damage. And at 5 covers, 16,000 damage. While that is a lot of damage, it also takes a long time to get 14 AP. So, I mean, that's not really what makes the power what it is. The passive is what makes the power what it is. Whenever an enemy fires a power, deal at 3 covers 3,000 damage, 4,000 damage at 4 covers, and 5,800 damage to the target. That means not the enemy that casts the skill, but rather the one you're currently targeting. So if you can still basically choose who's going to get hit with this. When you're fighting goons that keep laying down multiple countdown tiles, they're just going to melt. You can look at my playthrough videos of the Strange Sights PvE if you really want to see how quickly you can destroy enemies with this. It makes wave nodes, even when they're scaled to level 400, seem like they're a joke. So this is really the skill that makes Doctor Strange the monster that he is. It's just an incredible skill. It's almost too strong. They even had to lower it before it was released because it was too strong. I think originally it was doing 8,000 damage. The thing is, this skill is not quite as useful in PvP because the enemy can choose when they're going to fire the power and make sure that Doctor Strange will die when they use it. Also take into account Doctor Strange has very low health for a 5-star. Not very low health in general, but for a 5-star, it would probably take about 10 to 15 turns to match it down if you get really lucky. So, I mean, it's still not super easy to avoid using skills, but you can wait until you have enough to finish him off with a skill, maybe. But it's just not quite as useful because of the fact that you have to place the blue, and the yellow only you can avoid it if you know how to play properly. So he's not the best PvP player with his skill set. But let's just take a quick look at the Flames of Faltine in action. Okay, let's see the Flames of Faltine in action. So first off, anytime an enemy uses a move, Doctor Strange will jump out in front and shoot out of his arms and deal 5,800 damage. This is very useful against certain types of enemies, mainly goons, because they're constantly creating countdown tiles. It's not as useful against characters like Old Man Logan, since he doesn't really use his skills that often except for his black before transformation. So you really have to figure out who your opponent is before bringing in Strange, because this yellow move is the best. So this is when you actually get 14 at yellow AP. So it's dealing 16,000 damage. Same exact animation, it just does damage when you choose to. Okay, so we've seen all of his skills. Like I said, I suggest you watch my other video with a playthrough of the Strange Sights. I think I started using him in the 2nd and 3rd sub, so you can watch part 2 or part 3 of those videos to really just see how crazy he is. So, is he a top tier character? He's incredible. It's hard to know how to compare characters because they really are making 5-stars special, in that they each seem to do something unique to their own character and specialize in their character or their skill set. So I think this is the best PvE character created yet. PvP, I think he's probably, he's below Old Man Logan, he's below Phoenix even, below Green Goblin, because he's got more expensive skills or bad on AI. So he's still probably maybe 4 or 5 in terms of ranking, because he's pretty annoying to fight, because you're going to have to worry about what you're going to do in terms of not using skills. But let's talk about good teammates for him. So you can take a couple different philosophies, and it also depends on your opponents. So one of them is you want to get as much automatic free damage as possible. So of course in that case you're going to bring him with Black Bolt, because Black Bolt will be doing his 5,000 something damage every turn once he's got enough charge tiles out. And you're gonna he has green and black. he also has a yellow, but so you've got most of the colors covered, and you're just going to be getting an insane amount of free damage at every turn. Um, and I like to use Phoenix a little bit with him because you can use her red and her purple, um, and then you can kind of choose if you want to use Black Bolt's green or Phoenix's green when she goes down. And it gives you a bit more survivability because that team doesn't have a lot of um, health, since both Black Bolt and Doctor Strange cannot heal, unlike a lot of the other current 5 stars. Um, I'm not really a big fan of the um, Black Widow, but she does have some good color coverage as well. But I don't think I would actually use her that often. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else thinks she's better. Um, I wouldn't use Black Suit Spider-Man because then you're going to have too much overlap in terms of the, uh, his purple skill nullifies strike tiles, but Doctor Strange's purple skill can also nullify strike tiles, and even if it's slower. Um, his blue can stun. His blue can stun. So I think it's a bit too much overlap to use Spider-Man. Um, Silver Surfer is a potential teammate because you then have an active in black and red. If, I'm talking about using with Black Bolt as well. Um, well, you also have Old Man Logan. Again, he's good at dealing tons of damage without using skills. So if you want to hold off on using skills and all, that might be a good teammate. But then you're not likely to activate his strike tiles too often with for Old Man Logan's passives if you have Black Bolt and Doctor Strange as his teammate. So that's why I kind of like Phoenix more. You can also go with the Green Goblin. Not quite as good of a teammate, but he still has his crazy black and purple skills. I don't know if I would actually use Banner ever. The Hulk, just not really worth it. And um, so uh, I don't think I would use the other two guys over here, Steve Rogers and Iron Man, just because of too much color overlap. But I think that really Doctor Strange and Black Bolt, and then you can kind of figure out who the third is for PvE. And for PvP, that's still a pretty scary team. I'd be afraid to go up against this because I know that I probably will take a lot of damage. But I definitely wouldn't be as afraid of that team if these two guys and the PvP events selected character, as much as some other teams like Old Man Logan that's maxed out with Green Goblin or something. But he's in terms of taking him down, like I said, you probably want to do something like Old Man Logan. You don't want cheap skills to take him down. So Black Bolt's also a good counter to Doctor Strange because you can be doing that free damage every turn. So I would bring Black Bolt and Old Man Logan to take down Doctor Strange, or maybe Black Bolt and Green Goblin, because then you can use Green Goblin's black to one-shot. Because remember, his Goblin Glider does 24,000 damage, about, and he's got 35,000 damage. So you just need to do 10,000 damage to Doctor Strange before using the Green Goblin's glider. So, you do 5,500 damage a turn after maybe 3 or 4 turns with Black Bolt. So that's it right there. Just make, 2 matches of black and Doctor Strange is down. That's it. Dead. Boom. So that's why I don't think he's quite as good in PvP. But he's still definitely a very unique character, and he does change the way the game will be played a bit in the 5-star land. So let me know what you guys think is a good teammate for him, and if you think I'm missing out on something else about who else you would use to stop him, or if there's other uses for him. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thanks.